Welcome everyone then back to Swans cast. Another midweek game on a Tuesday this time, which is a little bit different from what we've been used to of late. Against Blackburn away, so it was delayed from early January, and a little bit of a dull performance, which is coming a bit of a theme of late. I think we can probably agree on that. We're going to talk about the game a little bit live today. We'll upload the video afterwards, so if you're not joining us live, then obviously we're grateful for anyone watching the video afterwards. So let us know in the comments, first of all, what you think about the match, what you think about the performance. Did we deserve the point? Did we deserve more, or did we deserve less? Obviously, we have the penalty to talk about once again for the third game in a row. Maybe we'll have a bit of a discussion, a wider discussion about penalties and what people are saying about Swansea in general, linked to penalties. Is there more going on? I mean, we'll talk about that later. Just looking at the wider sort of social media sphere again and get a conversation going in regards to that. But Lee, so let's start off with the match. So thanks for joining again. Just the two of us today. But what have we got to say about this one?
It was absolutely dreadful, wasn't it? I'll never get those 2 hours back of my life. Just watching that game, It was so poor. But it's only a continuation of the last couple of weeks, really, just the performance level, and it's just been the same again. But I think at this time we sort of dragged Blackburn down to our level as well, because they literally didn't do anything. Whether it was the same for them, just tired legs in midweek, but that was just awful.
We touched on it before. Blackburn's performance on being great. They obviously beat, I think it was Millwall. They played. It was Millwall 2-0. They played them, beat them. That was the first win in like 7 games. They lost like quite a few in a row. So I think we talked about it. They didn't win since like January. So we're saying about dragging them down to our level. Maybe we were just matching their level. Who knows, isn't it? But
it was abysmal. There's just nothing. Both sides didn't create much. I can't think of many chances that we had really. Same for them, really. It was just, and obviously we had a pen, and their goal was pretty soft, and it was just terrible all round. I think
I would say we could probably guess this performance was going to happen because we've seen it every game. Sometimes we manage to drag ourselves and sort of grind a result. Sometimes we've had a bit of luck or fortune, and this time, I guess we had a penalty. Personally, I'll talk about that later, but I think probably the most genuine one, potentially. There wasn't really much going on. Like, I don't even think I was watching. I mean, I was watching the game, but I wasn't always watching the game because it was just like.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking through the game as well. I was thinking I'm struggling to what we're going to say if we do a video when we do the video afterwards.
We'll dive in. I'm just going to check out with the comments a second. So yeah, Chris, not with us today. Obviously, still on early day dad duties. So hope it's going well, Chris. But yeah, nice new digs. I got my nice little fake green screen in the background because a little bit more messy than it normally is. Amy in the chat. So hi, Amy. Disappointing again. Lucky Blackburn lacked quality up front. Well, they have been quite often this season. Well, I say that. Obviously, they got Armstrong, but he wasn't there today, was he? Yeah.
No, he was injured.
So they obviously missed him. Potentially would have changed the match, I guess. But, they're 14th in the league for a reason, I guess. They just hit and miss here or there. But it is what it is. They definitely, from my opinion, they probably deserved to win. I would say I wouldn't have had any arguments about losing that game. Especially after there was a good period for about 25 minutes in the second half. That was all of them. It wasn't quite as bad as the Middlesbrough game where it was the entire half. But
no, but we had a good spell, didn't we? Sort of first 20 minutes of the second half. We were sort of putting the pressure on a bit.
Yeah.
And then we seemed to tail off a bit then. But like I said, there was no real chances in there. And I always say as well, I know like we can probably say how bad we were and how Blackburn were, but my golden rule is always take a point away from home.
Yeah.
Especially just taking over the points total.
Yeah. Well, I've got some more comments before we actually delve into the goals and stuff. So, Eddie, pretty poor in my opinion. We'll take the 1 point. However, I was so scared when I saw the keeper almost save the pen. We'll touch more on this later maybe, but hasn't Ayu gone like down the middle 3 times in a row now?
I don't know where. Oh, hang on. So there's MotoGP outside mine, I think. But that that penalty run-up is just going to give me a heart attack. He needs to stop doing it, please. I know he scored.
Yeah, but he's waiting for the keeper to dive first,
Yeah.
and then he's going. But I'm pretty sure he's put it in the middle of the last three, and the keeper's going to watch that. You know what I mean? They're going to watch what he's been doing.
Yeah,
You've got to take a guess. And
Sinclair was the same when he always used to wait for the keeper to move. And I remember he missed that one against Man City, didn't he? And see Joe Hart saying before he took it, like, just don't wait for me to move. I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And he saved it. So I think, like, yeah, they will. You know, it does happen. But he's scoring at the moment, so.
Yeah, well, he scored it. That's the main thing. Out, frustrating tonight. We don't build any pressure in the opponent's final third to create chances. Cooper needs to be bolder in these games at the moment. They look petrified of losing. I'd say that's probably quite a fair comment. They do look a bit...
Yeah, that's a good shout.
It's getting to the nitty-gritty end of the season, and perhaps they are a bit like... It's getting to their heads a bit. They're so high in the table that it's realistic they could go up, and the thought of them mucking it up maybe is too much for them to handle, but...
Yeah, it's a good shout, that is, because I didn't think of it like that before, because I think when, you know, it was early doors in the season, we were sort of playing with a bit more freedom, weren't we? And I think now it is within touching distance. We're just sort of playing games just to not lose them, really, aren't we? Just to stay in the hunt. And maybe that's why the attacking threats just, scaled off
out a little bit. Yeah, lost Lee. He flows back on. Lee's been having some technical difficulties. Just turn the camera off is a problem. As long as we can hear you, that's fine. Okay, so hate that we have become a team that can't play football all of a sudden, from Amy. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I really don't know what the problem is, what the solution is really. Cooper's just got to be working overtime to try and sort it out, because luckily the point today wasn't the worst thing in the world, but a couple more like this and it's getting into that sort of scenario. Hello, bad result, no creativity, no desires, really boring game as usual. I think Woodman needs to be dropped. I mean, it did go through his legs. I would say he probably could have done better for the goal, but yeah, I'm not sure. We haven't even seen the second keeper play, so I'm not sure it's worth chucking him in at the moment. I'll just keep reading comments until we get a lead back. Love the technical difficulties during the live stream. So we've lost our identity of flooding the right side with players and low crosses that we had for most of the season. We look completely void of any play style at the moment. I mean, look, me and Lee were talking about this earlier. I think Lee, you're on mute, by the way. I think I don't know whether it's necessarily all of our fault, but we've played this style for nearly a year. Maybe teams just know how to set up against us and they're making it a little bit more tricky. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing better, but I think there is more to it than it's just us playing bad. I think teams are obviously adapting a certain way of... I've just seen Lee Franz in the chat here saying, "Hey guys, there's a chance for a shout out. I watch you every week." You can go and shout to Fran in the background. Anyway,
yeah, I'll give her a shout out.
Before we'll do just the rest of the comments in a bit, but let's talk about the game. So, first goal came from Blackburn. I would say we can't really have any arguments about going behind. I don't think really anything of note happened before that, but we kind of got caught on the break a little bit. They played some nice balls. To be fair, the assist was really good, and the finish goes through Freddie Woodman's legs, as one of the comments just mentioned. Personally, I don't know what you think about this, Lee, but I think Woodman could have done a bit better. But I'm not saying it's his fault, because I don't think they should have got in that situation in the first place from the defending.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I kicked my laptop over. I did, so it just went all, just chaos. Just as I thought I'd sorted it all out, but no, I'm back now. Yeah, I think he definitely needs to do better with our Woodman. I think it is quite soft, and the only thing that worries me now is just the probably bombardment of criticism that he's going to get for that, because he should have done better. But I think it just was good. That goal was just soft in general. It just seemed so easy.
Yeah,
they just flicked it in behind. Uku came out, Cabango, and then someone just run off. It was just way too easy, and it was soft all round Woodman and the defence really.
Yeah, it was a good goal from Blackburn's point of view. Let's be honest, though, they played some nice balls. The assist, like I said, from Tribal was a very good assist, and Bradley Dack, you can't argue with the finish. At the end of the day, he was clinical. He saw the opportunity and he's put it through his legs. So, but Bradley Dack, we know he's a dangerous player. He did look a bit lively tonight, but that only lasted for 4 minutes because we had another penalty
The only issue that we'll have with that is it was so similar to the one that happened against Middlesbrough, wasn't it? Where Fulton kicks Balassi, doesn't he, as he tips the ball away. And I think that was a penalty, and I think ours was a penalty tonight. But it just...
Yeah, but maybe that was a penalty, but obviously the ref saw it as a foul the other way. So it's not the same question of is it a penalty or not. The ref seen it wrong and thought that Fulton was fouled, which is a mistake.
Well, it was a mistake. But the only thing that's really bugging me now with this penalty thing, and I think we touched on it in the last video, that again we never get these decisions, but now it just seems that every fan across the championship now thinks that we get these decisions week in, week out, and we're lucky and we're paying refs or all this rubbish and we're going to cheat our way to promotion.
Yeah,
that's just not the case. And I don't know whether it's like a Welsh club thing that they've got against us. I don't know what it's like for Cardiff as well. I don't know if they don't get the rub of the green, but if they did.
You said about Cardiff, I just want to say while we're on that topic, because I've got some people in work that support Cardiff. I'll be honest, we don't like to talk nice about Cardiff, but let's put our non-bias and non-rival hats on here. It's definitely a problem for them as well. From what I'll have conversations with the boys in work about football without shouting at each other's throats a little bit sometimes. There's banter there sometimes, but they've definitely had stuff gone against them this season that shouldn't have, wrong decisions, and it seems to happen quite often. Even when they were in the Premier League last year, they had a couple, and arguably not last year, the year before. Arguably, if they didn't have them go against them, they could have stayed in the league. I'm not saying that people are out to purposely do bad on the Welsh clubs, but we've always said it. We said it when we were in the Prem that we had bad decisions and it was an anti-Welsh thing. We've said it for years. All I would say on this penalty, and all the people now jumping on Swansea's case saying they get easy decisions, it's a joke, it's happened 3 games in a row, all this, that, the other. We've had someone comment on Twitter actually saying it's not about how many penalties we're getting, it's how they're getting them and why they're getting them, and it's typically when we are losing and we need a goal to win the game. So this was in response to me tweeting out saying that at the time before today we only had 4 penalties all season, so we now had 5, which is 3 in the last 3 games. We had 2 before that. Do you know what I mean? We're not the luckiest team with penalties. The fact that he's saying about us losing or need a goal to win the game, if you look at our defence, we've always potentially won by 1 goal. The results this season have been quite close. Been a lot of 1-0s, 2-1s, 2-0s. So yeah, it is always one goal to sort of change the result. It's quite common in Swansea games this year. So there's nothing there. I don't understand this. Where are all these people when that penalty against Bristol City was controversial and we had that goal choked off from Casey Palmer against Sheffield Wednesday? People weren't making the same fuss then. So
I don't know why it's getting so much fuss. Maybe just because it was 2 in a row. And again, nobody's going to mention the penalty that we should have had earlier on in the game, which was a pen for me as well, because he handballs it.
Yeah,
he should have come with his arm straight above his head, which you can't do in the box. So nobody's going to mention that though. Nobody's going to mention that we didn't have that one.
Yeah, exactly. So it does suit an agenda, because a lot of these fans are not happy that, it's a mixture of fans. You've got the Brentford fans that will always say, oh yeah, Jake Bidwell elbowing our goalkeeper, Swansea going up by cheating. And now they'll see all these penalties as well, which, look, the Stoke one, not a penalty for me. The one against Middlesbrough, it can go either way, and I think it's fair enough if either way it's given or not. I think, yeah, you could give it, but I can see the other point of view as well. This one, for me, in today's world, I think it is given. I think if VAR is there, they would still give today's one, because he's late and he makes contact with his leg. And we've seen VAR decisions this season. They're bad enough anyway, so I think VAR still gives the one today. Not sure about the other 2. But Well, I know not about the Stoke one, but yeah, it's just we won't drone on about the penalties, but it's getting a bit boring now. Just reading all the anti-Swansea stuff, I think.
Yeah, I just hope we don't get a penalty. It's just getting to the point where you don't want a penalty now.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be that backlash that comes with it now.
Well,
Everything we get, every decision we get now is going to be scrutinised a bit more, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and everyone's looking out for it as well. They're literally looking out for it. As soon as it's a penalty, everyone's asking. In like, if I was jumped in someone's live stream on the game, a non-Swansea channel, they're like, "Oh, was it a legit penalty this time? Or how much did they pay the ref this time?" Or that sort of comment. It's just a bit annoying. I mean, you can meme it and all that, and the whole Keith Cooper thing, but I just wanted to if we do end up having a good season and end up finishing second or going up in the playoffs, that's always going to be there now, and that's the frustrating part about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we covered the penalty enough there. Just got to jump back in the comments. So, we are horrible to watch. So many aimless balls up the pitch. There is quite a lot of that going on. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily something that's come in recently. We've done that quite a bit all season, but it's just more noticeable now when nothing's coming off as a result of those balls. And I'm not saying we should do them either, but I think it's not something that's just come in recently. The defenders have always added in them to put an aimless hoof up the pitch. I think Cabango does it quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just we're not doing anything at the moment. I know we've said like in other videos that the style of football doesn't really matter, but at the moment, whatever style of football we're playing is just it's awful to watch at the moment.
Yeah,
and I think I think that was a good point made earlier when we said about just playing games not to lose them, because I don't know if it's just me, but it only seems that we spark into life now when we have conceded. Sometimes, like tonight, we didn't really offer much. Then they scored, and we've gone up the other end and got the penalty almost 2 minutes later.
Yeah,
and the same on Saturday. We seem to just
same against Brentford. We go behind and just find the goal and then disappear again.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and I think, but I think it's more of this to come. I think this like the performance level, I just can't see it changing drastically.
I can't see it improving. I don't.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be like this.
I don't even know what the solution is anymore. I suggested the diamond, and whoever's playing the cam position, not actually getting on the ball in the cam position, but even when they've tried that, it's not like the Middlesbrough game was diamond and it didn't really work, did it? I don't know, and it's hard to change it because they can't train much.
Yeah, but something I wanted to say. I think I know we can say we've been lucky or we grinding out results. We're either going to have to grind out, what is it, the 10 games left? Is it 10 games left or 11?
10 or 11 because we've got a game in hand of me.
10. We're not going to grind out 10 results playing like that for the rest of the season. So either something changes or I don't think we will get top 2. And I know it's a bit of a negative way to look at it, but the way we are playing, I don't think we're going to grind enough results out to finish in the top 2, especially when someone like Watford, I know obviously with the money that they've got a massive squad that they can rotate all the time. So I don't think, unless something changes drastically, I think we're going to finish in the playoffs.
It's definitely going to be tricky, so I'm going to try and fly through some of these ones because there's quite a few to get through here. But give Ollie Cooper a chance. You like this one, Lee? Dander useless, one through ball, and our fans think he's David Silva.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Not to scapegoat Dander, but I think the problem is with him. I think everybody wants him to do well. Everybody's like, yeah, go on. Get Dander on, everybody wants him to do well. But when you peel it back, I don't actually know what he does offer. Like, he looks lively in spells, but then his end product is just not there. So he's going to be like...
Did he pull off his inner Renato Sanchez today?
Yeah, and the first one wasn't so bad, the one that he hit over, because he was sort of rushed on, but the second one, he had so much time, and he skied into Rosehead.
Yeah.
He had plenty of time to hit that on target.
Okay. Worrying, low form.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Worrying, low form at the moment. More worrying, looked disinterested this season. I don't think it's a lack of passion. I never think that. They wouldn't be in the position that they're in now. But there's something not right. But I don't think it's the commitment and drive from the players. They want to go up as much as we do.
Yeah, I think it's probably something they just can't avoid as well. I think it's just staleness because, I think it would have been a kick. I know we keep going back to the Morris injury. I think that's going to have a big impact on the season when we look back at it.
Losing,
but I think
White.
You're almost with Lowe and Ayew. They're pretty much guaranteed to play every game now. So whether they whether they mean it or not, they are going to be stale because
Yeah.
they're both tired, and even if they have a poor game, they're going to be playing next week.
Yeah. Okay, so shame we lost Gibbs White. I just said that. Yeah, I think he would have offered a lot. Look, he showed what he could do early season. I think it is a massive shame. When he came back, that would have been like a new signing. And looking how it's gone since he left, we really could have done with that. We managed to cope when he wasn't here, when he was not available because of injury, but really could be doing with him now, just for the creative spark and like sort of flair that he offers. Got to find another way of playing, have to change the way that we play, tweak the system because it's not working. Again, yeah, maybe it is time to go for the back, but the argument there is our wing backs create like all of our goals. It's a difficult situation. The biggest loss we've had is Bennett. He brings experience in that position that calms the whole team down. No one has experience, but he doesn't seem to have the presence at the back like Ryan. I would agree, Bennett is a massive loss. But yeah, our defence has actually been a bit more leaky lately. That's fair, but also that doesn't fix our attacking problems, which I think is a bigger concern.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you want to go on. I was going to say about some performances at the back.
Yeah, let me just finish these comments and then we'll.
Go on.
And then we'll. I think Woodman thing is interesting. It correlates with the losing Bennett. He evidently contributes a huge amount to our defensive record. It's not all Freddie midfield losing possession too. Yeah, definitely. Like, he could have done better, but it comes back to him being a young keeper again, and he's going to learn and make mistakes. But he was put in that position by the players in the first place. He could have done better with a save, but you could often say that about goalkeeping. And it's always easy to say that about the goalkeeper. At the end of the day, he's the last man in defence. Sometimes you've got to question how they got to that position in the first place.
Yeah, I know, but he's got to do better there tonight.
Yeah.
That one.
No, I agree.
I will stick up for him most of the season. He's got to do better with that one.
I do think I said as soon as he went under his legs, I was like, oh, Jesus, bad goalkeeping. But I didn't think dropping him is the answer. That's what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah, no.
Well done, Luke. More people telling the facts. Cheers, Chris. Ashley, welcome. Big debut, I heard, for Ashley soon in Rugby Talk.
There's rumours about that, I've heard.
Yeah. To be honest, it's not helped by the media either. BBC Sport, for example, made countless references this evening to the amount of pens you have received. Yeah, well, they like the controversy. It gives them clicks. But you're right, it's not helping our cause at all. Okay.
It seems to be as well on that. The like the Warnock thing as well, saying about the Keith Cooper thing. That was bad of him to say that because like everybody's jumped on that as well now, and that sort of escalated it even further.
Well, he's been investigated by the FA, isn't he, for them comments? I don't know what an investigation means. He said that stuff in the media. Fine him. What are you investigating? Yeah. I don't understand. What are you going to get out of it? Oh, he said some bad things. Slap him on the wrist. That's literally what's going to happen. Okay, player performances. You said you wanted to touch on some then. First of all, let's try and get a I say positive. Who would you say man of the match was? For Swansea now, just a Swansea player.
I'm struggling with that. I don't know. I mean, look at the usual contenders. I mean, Connor Roberts, he was quiet tonight. I don't know. I don't really think many players imposed themselves on that game.
No.
Fulton maybe he had a couple of touches and he won the penalty, but that's me struggling. That's me struggling to find someone.
I probably would just go with Ayew because it must be with the whole penalty situation. He's the one tasked to put them away. I know we spoke about it. Maybe for me it was a bit close for comfort than going down the middle, but he still put it in. And it's not just 3 penalties in 3 games. It's 3 penalties in 3 games where everybody in the league is talking about you. So it's a lot of pressure. So just based on that, because I don't think there's anything else to talk about. That's what I'm.
Well, I think that sort of comes back to what we were saying the other day about the worry if he goes to international break, isn't it? And we're gonna have to be without him for 3 games.
Yeah. I've just noticed as well, right? So I'm looking at the SofaScore ratings, and they've got the substitutions, and I didn't realise this, but they're putting down the Horahan sub as an injury.
I don't know. I didn't notice. I don't know. He had a head injury, didn't he? He went down on the edge of the box. I don't know if it was round about that time.
I did think it was odd that Cooper was making 2 subs for 60 minutes.
Yeah, I wonder if on that as well. I wonder if Guay's injured because he went off at half time, didn't he? That'd be a massive miss.
I think they were assuming usually when he subs the defender at half time it's an injury, especially if it's like for like it's not like he changed the system.
That'd be a huge miss there because leads on to what I was going to say really about the performances at the back because that ball going in behind Bidwell, second half seemed to cause ructions, and he's usually on that left-hand side, isn't he, on of the back three?
Yeah.
That ball over the top, in between Bidwell and Latibodia and Woodman, it just seemed to cause ructions every time. That one early on in the second half, he should have scored. He should have chipped Woodman.
Yeah.
And it happened a couple of times on that side, and I think when Guehi went off there, we looked a bit loose there on that side. So that'll be a massive miss if he's injured.
Yeah, you said about that. Amy saying in a chat, Bidwell had a good game tonight, which maybe it's not necessarily Bidwell's fault if that ball behind is going in, but Latibodia, I don't think has played on the left of the defence when he's ever played before. So maybe there's just no connection there, and they're not sure how each other are playing, and Bidwell would know where Guehi is, and Guehi would know where Bidwell is, but that same sort of relationship is not there. So that's probably the cause for that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other performances? We saw Routledge for the first time in like 2 months.
Yeah, that was good. That was a plus. He can bring some energy. Well, maybe that might be an answer going forward, just because he can bring a bit more energy coming off the bench. Yeah. Would you, could you possibly start him instead of Lowe in a couple of games?
I feel like with games like Bournemouth and Cardiff coming up, it would be good to just chuck him in one of maybe Luton. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no easy games. There's no easy games, but there's harder games.
You know what you're getting with Routledge, though? I think any time they chuck him in, he does a job whenever he's in there. So I think
I told you he's got 100% shot accuracy this season from his 2 shots.
Get him in, lethal. Get him in.
Yeah. Okay. So
actually, before we move on, the only other one I wanted to say was I thought Cabango was really poor tonight.
He has those games, didn't he? He has a good one, and then he's like, he sort of goes off the boil a bit.
There was a couple where like he messed up a few clearances, didn't he? And he just sort of got himself lost.
Yeah.
I'd have to see their goal back, but I know he comes out for their goal. I'm not sure if it's entirely his fault, but there was a couple of clearances that he messed up, and
I feel like Cabango. Bear in mind he's quite young, so maybe that's the reason, because he's not experienced. But I feel like he's the sort of player that he plays how the team play. So sometimes you get a player that drags you out with something, like you can play bad, and you can just turn up with a goal. And I know Cabango's a defender, but he kind of like, if we're bad, Cabango's making a lot of errors, and he's not trying to play the passes, he's just kicking it along. If we play good, he's excellent, do you know what I mean? He just goes with however we're playing as a team. Maybe that seems like an obvious thing to say, but I just feel like that's kind of where he is at the moment, which isn't a bad thing, because he's, like I said, he's got a lot of development time ahead of him. Okay, so let's recap over our predictions. I'll finalise the comments, and then we'll touch on the next game quickly to save us a bit tight for time this week. So, do you remember what you said, Lee?
I said 1-0, didn't I? I gutted because I said we never draw. I was going to say draw, but we never draw lately.
So you jinxed us,
lo and behold.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I did jinx us again. Yeah. But I said 1-0, didn't I?
1-0 Swans. 1-0 with Horahan, you said. Scott went 2-1. Haley, dinner's ready whenever you are. We'll get him off. He can go and have his food soon. We won't be long.
My dinner's ready. I'm starving. Fair play. Good service. Good service over here.
Coming in the live chat to tell you your dinner's ready. That is good.
It's cracking service over here. Told you, it's always good. Cheese and broccoli pie tonight, I think.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds tasty, Fran. You'll have to send some down my way. Scott said 2-1 Swans, Felton and AU, so he got a goal scorer, which is fair enough, to be fair. How long are we going to wait for Felton top bins? Well, I think we'll just get on a t-shirt before we actually see it, won't we? I think he did a couple of pre-season friendlies, but I can't remember the last proper top ins he's done in a competitive match. I guess his little flick earlier this season was good, though. I did one against Rotherham. I was quite good. I said 2-0 Swans. I got Ayew as a goal scorer, but that's it. Chris said 0-0, so we got a draw. But what he actually said was 0-0, no goals from Andre Ayew. So I feel like we should deduct him points because he said Ayew wouldn't score, and he did score. John 1-0 Bidwell, Alid 2-1 Ayew Grimes. So again, he's saying Ayew should get some points, but pretty poor performance all round, really, from us. But no one wants to predict a draw. Okay, so anything else to say on this game?
Nah, point away from home, take it. Awful performance. Let's go to Saturday and watch the same again, probably.
So, moving on. First of all, I'm just gonna, because we're doing this live and we're sort of doing back-to-back videos, I'm just gonna sort of end this one, start a new one for those watching you later on YouTube. So thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with everything we're doing. Leave a like as well, it really helps support and grow the channel, and let us know in the comments as well what you think about the games. We're now doing this live, so we're going to go straight into pre-match for the Luton game, so that should be probably linked if it's uploaded by the time you're watching this one, so check that out. If you're watching in the live stream, stay tuned and we will be back in about 5 seconds.